It's October 2nd, 2020. I just dropped Antonine off at public school, and the check engine light came on October 2nd. I drove the car last night as they asked. They needed cold start, then for me to drive it and whatnot under the new stupid German car, the Japanese, if the mechanic kept telling me if I had a Japanese car, this wouldn't happen, because they're like precision performance, and I have a German car, so this is the new protocol, and it's a problem for me. I'm like, it also doesn't make sense, but whatever. So I drove out to Huntington. I met with Donnie last night, and then I came back to Queens. And on the way, after I stopped at T-Mobile in Roslyn, right by where 1800 Northern Boulevard is, where my dad's, it now says Embryo, EMBRYO, but I stopped at T-Mobile. Then when I was at the light, the engine light went back on again. Go figure, crossing between Nassau, whatever. So I just dropped off Anthony at school, because today is one of those days where they go in. And I, real quick, I guess assistant principal, I don't know, there's a gentleman. He was in the courtyard, and I was just bantering back and forth. I asked him, I said, do you happen to know, because I said, I met with a gentleman last night. I said, we like broke down the world in like an hour. I was like, and I'm just curious, but he was out in Suffolk. Do you know why the blue and yellow state troopers don't come through the city? He's like, no. And I'm like, right, okay. I was like, I guess, I mean, their State Department, or so it's separate than the city. So this way, and they're like supposed to report, I thought, to the immigration. I was like, and keep an eye on things. I was like, but I never see them in the city. It doesn't feel, and since I arrived in 1978, it doesn't feel like, it feels like the city's been going on a steady decline. He's like, yeah, he's like, right. He's like, well, it's hard. He says, for me, he says, I listen to everybody. He says, but I really, with my job, I really don't speak at all, because, and I'm like, no, I get it. I was like, I said, I have sharp teeth. And I showed him my tooth. I was like, I'll speak for both of us. I was like, and I said, they've ensured I had no employment whatsoever, so I have no problem being as loud and as obnoxious as possible, so everybody listens. And that was it. And so then I left. I'm trying to think. Right, I was like, and no, I mean, like, is school important? The social aspect of it, I suppose, in a different world, it was. I was like, but the problem is the curriculum. I mean, I was speaking with the gentleman outside in Suffolk yesterday. I mean, the entire schooling years that I went to was for naught. Like, it did not prepare me for the world. There was nothing I would pass on to my children. Not one word would I give to my kids as important of something that I learned that is useful in the world. He's like, no, I understand. He says, that's a whole nother story. And I was like, yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's integral, but, so that's the morning update. So now I'm headed over to Prella to see what's going on and why the engine light is back on again.